So, if we can please begin this evening's event, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening for this event organized by the Green Institute in cooperation with the European Green Foundation and the Green European Journal. This evening we are going to be discussing the question of from growth to degrowth, and we have four excellent speakers with us this evening. Before we start, and I introduce them in a little bit more detail, I would like to start by giving the floor to the president, Kostas Loukeris of the Green Institute, who's going to express some words of welcome as well. I hope that we will have a constructive meeting this evening. Thank you very much indeed for having joined us. And if you are interested in the other activities organized by the Institute, there are lists where you can put your name and your contact details if you're interested, and we can get in contact with you. Before we give the floor to the speakers, I would like to thank Stavros for having organized this evening's event, Mr. Agoglossakis, and also Mr. Hadzi from the Institute. And, you know, they've worked very hard and very well, the result being that we're in this beautiful, these beautiful surroundings, and I hope that's going to help us come up with some very creative ideas. Thank you very much indeed, Costa. Now, before we move on to the speeches, very briefly, I would like to say a few words about how the idea for this came into being. Now, from the Greens Party, we've been very interested for many years in this question of degrowth. It's something which started several decades ago around the world, and it has now become political thinking, political analysis, and has gone into quite some depth. So we thought that on this issue, which has been widely discussed recently, particularly in a country like Greece, we thought it would be a good idea if we presented it, discussed it, see what it's all about, what solutions it can provide. So we decided to organize this event following the series of the European Institute through the Green European Journal. We followed up on the series of Beyond Growth and Degrowth. We thought it would be a good idea if we followed up on that series. You'll see that we've changed the title somewhat, because this isn't something which is particularly well known in Greece, degrowth. So we wanted to move on and discover it better. So we thought we should focus more on this question of degrowth, and once it's become embedded in Greek reality, Greek politics, you know, we hope we can go a little bit further on this and go beyond degrowth and the post-degrowth as well. Anyway, I would say that there are very few efforts to deal with this in Greece. I know in Trikala there's an institute dealing with degrowth, and some green organizations have set up the Greek network on degrowth as well. And we have the Prasino. It's a blog with very interesting articles and presentations. Anyone who's interested can find that on the internet. It's Prasino, and we are trying in this way to bring the ideology, the thinking, the content of green growth closer to the Greeks. Green growth basically refers to the way in which we live, think, imagine. It refers to our everyday life, the way in which we deal with our institutions, the bodies, the state, etc. And we've got some excellent speakers to discuss this with us this evening. That's why I'm not going to say any more right now. Before I give the floor to the first speaker, Mr. Mauro Bonauiti, I would like to openly thank Filippo Dragoumi from the Athens municipality for the assistance he's extended to us in organizing this event. I don't know whether it's here this evening, but I would like to thank him anyway.